my name's Akila and today I would like to show you around my little home studio, and I want to recommend you the stuff I use on a daily basis to produce music. This is just the essentials you need to get started. There is cheaper alternatives for sure, but this is what I bought in the past few years and what I would recommend to every one of you if you want to get started in music or if you're a professional already. Now let's get started with the speakers. The speakers I use are the Genelec 8040 and these are decent. I've been using these for around 5 or 6 years, and since I bought them, I would never go away from them. Pretty much all of my good mixes are done on these speakers. I've done all of my masters by myself. I did the mixing of every song by myself. So this is what I trust, and I really would recommend the Genelec 8040 to everybody. Those are a little bit pricey though. There are cheaper alternatives for sure. If you want to spend like $850 to $900 or $1,000 on speakers per speaker, then this is what you want. Once you go Genelec, you will never go back, trust me. Alright, next up I do have some studio or room treatment. Those are from Basotec. They are self-made by a friend and they cost like $70 to $80 per piece, and I do have like 1, 2, 3, 4. I do have 5 in my room behind the speakers, and on the other side on the room I do have some plants to absorb some of the basses and low frequencies. I know that's not ideal, but it worked for me. So when it works for me, why change a winning team, right? Pretty essential to treat your room well because you will get reflections, and room treatment is probably the #1 cause of a bad mix. So try to get your room fixed as soon as possible. Try to get a flat sound and try to put some absorbers behind the speakers and to the back of your seat. Also, it's very important to use a carpet, and probably if you can afford it, put something on the ceiling which absorbs the frequencies a little bit better. The next very important thing I use is an audio interface, and I'm using the SSL12, but you can go for cheaper alternatives as well. For example, some kind of Focusrite interface, or even the SSL2 is a very good interface. This one, which I use, the SSL12, can power the SM7B microphone, for example, without a cloud lifter, with no problem at all. The preamps are pretty good. You got those 4K legacy mode on the SSL, which is pretty nice, and you can get 4 inputs into this interface, which is also very useful when I'm recording guitars or recording my Juno 106 on this one. Next up is the Juno 106. This is an analog synthesizer from back in the years. My father gifted this to me. It's very expensive, I know, but it has a really cool, rich, warm analog sound, which I like to use in most of my tracks. It's not a primary synthesizer of mine, but I still use it, or at least I try to use it in every song I produce, because it's just so retro, so cool, and twisting knobs just makes fun and sense. And it sounds really, really awesome. The very next thing on my list is my guitar, and this is my favorite at the moment. This is a Les Paul Studio. I do play Gibson almost only, but I do own a few different guitars, like 10 of them to be honest, and most of them are Gibson, so I'm really into the whole Gibson thingy. I do like the sound of this specific one best. I do like the looks. It feels pretty natural in the hand. You can play very well on it. I started playing guitar when I was 7, so that was a long time ago. And ever since I've been falling for electric guitars. I started with Ibanez and then transitioned over to Gibson over the years. So this is why I like this specific guitar the most. Next item on my list is a good monitor, and I'm using a very widescreen monitor. It's like 34 inches or something. It does the job pretty well. You can see everything in your arrangement, and this is what you want. You can go for a 27-inch, for example. It will be fine as well. I have used that before and I have no complaints at all, but I just wanted a little bit more of a screen space to see things better, to get a bigger arrangement view for my productions. Now let's move to the main element of the whole studio, and this is my MacBook Pro. This is the M2 MacBook Pro chip, something like that. A very new one. I've got it in March, and I can do everything on this machine. Like, I can run Ableton with 200 instances of Serum open, no problem at all. A very good thing in the studio is to have a good microphone for your recordings. Either if you want to record vocals, or if you just want to record yourself or stream or record a video or something else, a good microphone is a must. And I do switch between the Shure SM7B and the Rode NT1A. Both decent. The Rode NT1A is a little bit cheaper, it's around 120 bucks, whereas the SM7B is around 400. One is a transistor mic and one is a dynamic microphone. If you don't know the difference, you can just Google it. I won't explain it to you right now, but maybe in a future video. I do have a guitar amp over here to do some quick practice. And if I want to record guitars, I just plug the guitar into the SSL12, which is by far the better and more faster solution for me. And the very last thing I want to mention, which is probably obvious, but you need to get monitor speaker stands. This is very important. If you place your speakers on your desk, then you will get tons of bass reflections and reflections everywhere. So lift the speakers into the air on a separate stand will make your sound like 300% better. Trust me, it's guaranteed. So there we have it. Those are my studio essentials to get started for everybody who wants to produce music in the future, or everybody who wants to buy some new stuff. Those are the things I recommend. I've watched hundreds and millions of YouTube videos on what is the best gear, and I decided to go with what I have because it really works for me. It does not need to be the most expensive stuff to reach your goals, but on the other hand, spending some bucks will help to increase your performance in production. If you did like this little video, make sure to comment down below what you think of my little home studio, and leave a like and a subscribe if you want to see more of my content. And it will also help to grow my little channel a little bit, and every like means a ton to me. Have a nice one and see you in the next one. Peace out.